Hello violin players, welcome to Prime Strings. I'm Henriette and this is the D major arpeggio from the ABRSM Grade 3 violin syllabus. Now I'm hoping that you will have learned the D major scale before you start off on this arpeggio, so if you haven't already watched that video, please watch that first because it will make this video a lot easier to understand and easier to play as well. Similar to what we did with the scale, we're going to change the fingering of the arpeggio as well. And I'll show you how I'm changing it. So I'll show you my book here, and instead of the 0 that you have over the top of the note, I'm circling the second finger here because we're going to play this D major arpeggio in the 3rd position, exactly the same as how we've played the D major scale. Can I please ask you to cross out the 2 zeros over the top and cross out these 2 zeros that you find towards the end over the top as well. And we're going to start with the second finger, and you can see the French word rester there, and that means stay in the same position. In other words, don't change position during your arpeggio. And we did that in the scale in the same way, and we find it quite easy when you can just stay in the same position rather than change positions as you go along. And we're doing that here as well. So we're starting on a second finger and we're also finishing on a second finger. So once you've got that, let's put the book away and let's play this. And as you're probably used to by now, we are going to be playing this at a super slow pace. And we're going to start by finding that 3rd position that we're starting on by just playing G 1 2 3 and then swapping our fingers over. So here we go. Now I'm in the 3rd position, but I'm not yet on the right finger. I'm on the 1st finger and I need the 2nd finger to start on. So let's play the 2nd finger. And you can test this note with the D string. Now if you find this challenging, bring your elbow a little bit further under the violin like that, and that should create a little tunnel underneath your 2nd finger so that the D string can ring freely there. So let's double check it again. That's it. Now I want you just to check that your thumb is soft here and that it is lying opposite your index finger or your 2nd finger, depending on the shape of your hand. But your thumb is not allowed to go there, and neither is it allowed to go beyond the 2nd finger. So anywhere there would be fine. Now let's play, shall we? And we'll go slowly. Try to use the whole bow for every note, and there is no rush whatsoever. Here we go. And now the part of this arpeggio which most people find very challenging is going from the 2nd finger on the G string to the 4th finger on the G string. So let's practice that combination of fingers a couple of times. So we're starting on 2 on G, and now 4, back to 2. Soften up your thumb if you find that tricky. If you can't reach it, you know you need to push that elbow further under the violin. It may be that you're here, you can just about reach it, and allowing your elbow to come round should let your pinky go a little bit more towards the left side, so towards the G string. And you might want to check also that this ridge of knuckles is level or above the string. So if you're too low here, you won't be able to reach it, you see. So bring that elbow under the violin, and that will get your ridge of knuckles here a little bit higher as well. Let's play the whole arpeggio again. And you're getting more familiar now with the notes, aren't you? So let's think about this left elbow just a tiny bit more before we carry on. As you start on the G string, your elbow is in its furthest position under the violin. But as you go up the arpeggio and your fingers go towards the E string, your elbow can relax it a little bit and come back so that it's in the middle of below the violin. But as you then go down the arpeggio, really make an effort to push that elbow gradually further towards your tummy, shall we say, so that it comes further under the violin, because you need to start to reach further towards the G string again. So on this next playing, I want you to focus on that. If you can manage, as well as all those notes, let's see if we can work on the elbow. Some testing, my dear. And here we go. And relax your elbow now. And now we're going to push that elbow a little bit further and push it even more. Now, those of you who know me a little bit know that I'm a great fan of playing an arpeggio twice over. It takes about 30 seconds extra to do that, and you learn it that much better, so it really consolidates in your head. So on our next playing, we're going to do that. Before we hit the final note of this arpeggio, we go straight back to the beginning and play the whole thing over, and then play the final note. But on this next playing, I want us to stop again on the first finger on the A string, similar to what we did when we were practicing the D major scale, and we're just going to check our tuning there. Are we ready? Test your note. And hold it here for a moment and let's check this note with the D string. Carry on when you're happy. Now here we could check this note with the A string, couldn't we? Carry on. And check your D with the D string again. So I'm thinking that by now you very nearly know this off by heart, maybe? Let's hope so. What I'd like you to do next is to try and work out what the letter names of your notes are. Because remembering this arpeggio by the fingerings is much more difficult and a long way round, I would say, compared with when you memorize this arpeggio by its letter names of their notes. So let's think for a moment about what the letter names are called. And we're starting on a D, then the next note is an F sharp, and next up is an A. Then we have a D again, F sharp, A. And this is now a pattern, isn't it? D, F sharp, A, D, F sharp, A. So instead of remembering 7 different fingers, I'm only having to remember 3 different letters, D, F sharp, A. The top note I can work out as I go along, because a D major arpeggio starts on a D at the bottom and finishes on a D at the top. And then as you go down, instead of the letters, I tend to say go the same way back as you've come up. Use the same fingers, because D, A, F sharp then gets a little bit complicated for my simple brain. Okay, so let's do that. Let's see if we can play and say which letter names each of the notes is called. So we're starting on D. Double check our tuning. Here we go. D, F sharp, A, D, F sharp, A, stick a D at the top, same way down. Repeat this. D, F sharp, A, D, F sharp, A, D at the top. I am in awe of you, because that is some really serious practice on the D major arpeggio. If you've enjoyed this, please like this video. If you have a question or comment, please use the comment section below. It's always nice for other people around the world who use these videos to read about how fellow violinists find this, because I'm sure that you're not alone in finding this one quite tricky for grade 3. I very much look forward to seeing you again soon. Goodbye.